Hello everyone and welcome back to another Paletteful Packs video. My name is Monique Renee and today I've got the Petite Paletteful Packs box for March. I feel like every time I film one of these videos my desk gets dirtier. Pay no mind. Oh my goodness! Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is a ton of Posca pens. Oh my gosh. Oh, these are so fun. Posca pens are such a fun art medium. They're like these big old... These are Posca pens, which are really fun like paint markers. And they are just these big like acrylic paint based markers that are just, oh, so fun. The next thing I see in here are, oh, Posca pastels. Okay. I guess these are also by Posca, but they are like little chalk pastels, maybe? And we've got our surface, which is a 3-pack of textured black boards from Crescent. I was not expecting to get a black surface, but it does make sense with the art supplies that we have. These Posca pens are going to show up so beautifully on these canvases, and I'm excited to see how these guys work too. We've got our info card right here. This is the Posca box, if you could not already tell. Posca is a marker popular with artists and creative hobbyists. They are an essential tool for creation and self-expression used by professionals and amateurs every day on all types of materials. Our info card encourages us to go to the Posca website to see how these can be used differently because these are like crazy versatile. They are filled with non-toxic water-based opaque paint. You can blend them, but they also dry quickly and you can kind of overlay them on top of each other because they're opaque. Not only that, but you can also use them on paper, wood, metal, canvas, fabric, glass, all kinds of stuff. I've seen people use these in ways I didn't even know you could use them, so definitely go check out the Posca website to kind of get some creative fuel. So these are indeed pastels made by Posca. I guess recently Posca is branching out into new materials, and the first one that they are doing besides the marker pens are these pastels. So something I did notice right away, they are pastels, but I'm not getting any of that residue on my finger that you usually get with pastels. So that is super cool because one of the things I hate most about using chalk pastels is how messy they are. So these actually kind of feel more of like a crayon consistency, but the info card says that they are soft and blendable, comfortable to hold, and mess-free. So I'm very excited to try these out and kind of see how they perform. Last but not least, we've got our surface, which is this textured black board. The illustration card also says how much these materials are going to really pop on this black, which I'm super excited to play with. This paper is constructed with a solid black core and a surface that allows the paint to be applied without fast absorption. So that's actually awesome because these will dry quickly. If we want to do any blending, having a material that doesn't absorb the paint as fast is going to be very helpful. On the back of our info card is some like instructions on how to activate the Posca markers. Because they are a paint pen, you do have to shake them and kind of prime them before they're ready to use. There's also some tutorials from the Posca website, as well as, like I mentioned before, those kind of community examples from artists. And of course, we've got our prompts, which are song, lizard, pixel art, and flower. You guys know I love to draw plants, and these two colors specifically are giving me some kind of botanical planty vibe. So I'm going to play around with these. Maybe some ideas will come to me as I kind of experiment with these art supplies. Let's go! So the first thing I want to do is actually show you guys how to activate a Posca pen. When you first open the pen, the nib is going to be nice and white and pristine. But we're gonna ruin that with paint. So the first thing you are going to want to do is shake your pen, like a lot. Once you've shaken it a bit, you're going to want to grab a spare piece of paper that you don't mind ruining. or at least getting paint on it, and you're going to want to press down. You'll be able to feel in the Posca pen, you can kind of like press down on it. This is going to let the paint start moving toward this nib, and you're just going to want to press it against the paper a few times. You'll be able to see that the paint is actually starting to seep into that nib. So to help speed this process along, we're going to shake it just a little bit more. And now look, that nib is nice and covered with paint, and now we can draw with it. Of course, the very first thing I have to do is swatch all of these beautiful colors. So I'm just going to, oh, wow! Okay, that is even more bright and beautiful than I thought it was going to be. I'm so excited. Oh, I am using one of the boards as a swatch and kind of test board because we've got 3 of them in the pack, so I don't feel as though I'm like wasting one. And I can already tell this is going to be such a ridiculously fun box. Look at that. I've also noticed that 2 of these are actually a smaller nib than the rest of them. You can also tell kind of by the size of the pen. So this white one it's marked as 1, and it says it's a 1.8 to 2.5 millimeter, whereas this one is number 2, and it says 0.9 to 1.3 millimeter. So I wasn't aware that Poscas came in different sizes, but there you go. The ones for me that are smaller are the yellow and the red, whereas all the other colors are that bigger size. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is try these little pastels and kind of see how they look. These definitely seem kind of like a, kind of like sketchy, like a pencil almost. They're definitely different than more traditional chalk pastels. It's kind of interesting. They do blend together on the page really nicely though. And they do show up on the black really nicely as well. Can I smudge them with my finger? Sort of. They do have kind of a more waxy finish, like almost like crayons, like I said earlier. And usually with like pastels, you can smudge them really easy with your finger. And depending on what kind of artist you are, the fact that these are less chalky and more waxy could be a benefit or a downfall, depending on like how you are as an artist. But these are interesting, and I'm happy that Posca is kind of like branching out into other art supplies. So these are a cool little taste on, you know, what else they can be capable of. Another thing I want to try is actually blending the colors. I know you can do that, so I'm just going to kind of lay down some white and lay down some blue over here, and then see if I can like blend, maybe with my finger. Oh gosh, that probably wasn't the best idea. What if I go over with white? I did get a little bit of a blend, but I'm not quite sure I like how that looks. I'm not sure if that's because I don't know how to use these art supplies or what. I don't know what I'm doing! Okay, so I doodled this little rose and I doodled this little bee, and I think this bee looks really cute. So I think what I want to do is kind of develop this a little bit more and maybe do like an illustration with the bee and maybe some plants coming toward the bee. So that is the plan that I'm going to work with. And yeah, let's get going on the final piece. So the first thing I did is I did go in with that white kind of waxy pastel. I didn't use the pastels that much in the finished pieces because honestly I was just having too much fun with the Poscas, and I liked how the Poscas looked, so I did, however, use it for kind of like an undersketch. I didn't use it too much though because they weren't erasable and I didn't want any of the lines to kind of show up. But I was able to cover the pastel lines with the Posca markers. To draw the bee, I basically just went in with the orange as kind of like a base, and then I went in with the yellow on top to add just a little bit of dimension, a little bit of, not quite shading, but just a little something else. I didn't want the bee to be completely yellow. For the wings, I just went in with the white, and look how striking that is. That is so cool. I am so happy with how the bee turned out. I just think, I don't know, it's just like, wow. So I was very happy with that. From there, I went in and just drew in some leaves, some little plants, some little flowers, and something that I tried to keep in mind while working with these Poscas is to really simplify my shapes. And this isn't something that I usually do in my art. I tend to rely a lot on like values and texture and line work to convey like different shapes or different objects. So I had to really simplify that down a lot because I wasn't working with the materials I usually work with, but I still wanted them to look cool. So basically I just tried to think of some plants or leaves that had really distinct shapes, and those are the ones that I included in the piece. And when I wanted just a little bit of extra something, I went in with a lighter color on top to just add like a little bit of detail or a little bit of highlight or something like that. I think it worked nicely. I am pretty happy with how both of my pieces turned out. There's something really fun and special about working really simple, and the end result ends up looking like a cute kind of piece of like folk art. And I really like that aesthetic, and it's not something that I usually work with, so it was really fun to kind of push myself in that way. Here is the second piece that I ended up making. I wanted to draw a little strawberry plant in a little pot, and this piece is just so summery and so happy, and like I usually don't make art that's like super simple and cutesy, so I was actually kind of surprised with myself that I could make something that looks like this, and that's just because I never use art materials like this, so it was really fun to like think about how can I break down something into simple shapes, how can I still convey what I want to convey but simpler. So that was really fun to kind of break out of my comfort zone a little bit with that, and the end result again is something I'm super happy with. I look at this piece and I just kind of smile. I'm just like, oh yay, that's so cute. So I loved working with these Poscas. I had so much fun with this box, guys. It was just fun and happy. Like, I don't know, I look at my pieces and I smile and get happy. So A+ box for me. Alright, that is going to be all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for another Paletteful Packs video. I think the art I made for this video turned out so cute and I had so much fun making it. If you are not already a member of the Paletteful Packs family, please do check out our link in the description box below so you can get an awesome box for yourself. And if you are already part of the family, be sure to upload your own art to social media using our hashtags, #PaletteFulPacks and #PaletteFulPrompts. I cannot wait to see what kind of fun, eye-popping art you guys make with this box, so please do tag us and show us what you've made. Anyway, that's going to be all for me today, guys, so thank you so much again, and I will see you all next month for another Paletteful Packs video. Bye, guys!